NSFW, female sex workers of Reddit, do you ever have female clients? Other than anatomical differences, how are they different from male clients? Essentially no. In 3 years of camming I had some men who were pretending to be women. They thought they were slick but it's painfully obvious. I'd play along though cause why not? It's their fantasy. Also had guys pretending they were there with their girlfriend. Okay, sure. And rarely there were some legit couples. Usually older. There are also times where a girl will be hanging in your cam chat room, but it's almost always a fellow cam girl gal pal situation. It's not actually sexual, but sometimes you'll pretend it is because money. I've been selling sex for 3 years now, have had 5 female clients in total, all of them different experiences. One of them were a lesbian couple where the other woman was too sick to have sex anymore but she loved her partner so I visited a couple of times and she watched. Other was a woman in her 50s. She was quite a sweet person. We took long baths and she had a dog that was my friend. 2 of the female clients did it for threesome with their husbands. Both were mere experiences. But the other one was straight up sad. It was obvious that the wife was terribly threatened by me and she didn't enjoy it the slightest, but was painfully desperate to please her fat old ugly rude husband. I felt genuinely bad for her. The last one is one of my regulars. She is a very overweight lady in her late 40s. I really look forward to spend time with her because she pays me practically twice the amount she should. She is always very kind. The difference. I am not sexually interested in women and haven't enjoyed sex with any of them. But again I never enjoy sex with my male clients either so there is no difference there. They all have been very unattractive but again, not so different to most of my clients. If I think about it, the only major difference that pops into my head is that I always have felt much more safe with female clients. Every single one of them have been very polite. No physical or verbal abuse. They completely respect my boundaries and don't try to push them. There has never been a danger of violence or getting robbed or raped. I feel that they see me as a human. I have had quite a lot of men with whom I have been somehow expressed that they don't think they only bought services from me but my whole body is an object I paid you. You must do what I say. What you mean no anal? You are a hooker you can't say no and so on. You get the idea. With men I constantly have my guard on, and I am prepared to for example client trying to put it on the butt without my permission. So in general I would say I've had quite nice experiences with women. They are safer and cleaner gigs that have paid well and that is the best I can get on this job. On the downside I don't really enjoy eating pussy and making a woman come takes a lot longer than with guys. So more work. All of them have been quite gross to be honest but again, nothing different from the usual. Women customers are pretty rare, even with male prostitutes apparently. I know a few dudes selling sex and male clients are much more common for them too. They wouldn't be able to make money only with women. She had a dog that was my friend. So relatable. And now thanks to being on the front page, my husband now knows my side account. Hi, husband. Female clients were my absolute favorites, but they were certainly rarer. A lot of the time they just wanted oral and a massage, and you could just talk, hang out, giggle. They almost always provided wine, and occasionally food. It was like getting down with a friend. I appreciated that they saw me as human, rather than the majority of my male clients who saw me as a blowjob machine. There are exceptions to both sides. Of course. I had one nasty female client who essentially wanted to abuse me. I ended up telling her no because she clearly had some extreme unresolved issues. Jealousy towards women, internalized misogyny, whatever you want to call it. I've also had very sweet, loving male clients who want to please me as much as they want me to please them. You get more people after practice than you'd think. But I worked high class. Most of the time if a lady was involved it was because her and her man wanted to have a threesome, or it was another escort who was employed as well to be with a man. I didn't mind those at all, but let me tell you, I had loads of threesomes in my time and when it was a couple I almost always wanted to scream at them to communicate better. 80% of the time it was the woman wanting to prove she wasn't boring, that she was a cool girl, and the guy was either pressuring her or totally oblivious. The latter wasn't really his fault, I guess. But go the extra mile to read your partners. People, you just come off like you totally don't care. I was a prostitute for 2-ish years and I had 3 female clients over that time. 2 of the 3 were in relationships with men and I was hired to fill out their threesomes. The other one was a woman who hired me on multiple occasions. The 2 that hired me for threesomes felt really awkward for me because I felt like I was part of some weird sex counseling session for them. But the other girl was really nice. I could tell she really wanted to be in a relationship but just didn't have the time. She was really sincere and seemed really happy to just have another person to be with. She was someone who worked really long hours at a hospital, from what I could tell, and I figured she just didn't ever have a chance to go out and meet people. Also, she was the first time I ever had sex with another woman, and I'm now openly gay. I still don't really know what to think about that. I wasn't expecting this big of a response. But thank you for reading this and taking whatever you took from my weird-ass life and coming up with the name of the screenplay of the exaggerated rom-com version. I'll try to answer any questions asked. Sounds like you need to call her up and go on a date. Not sure how much traction this question will get, but I'll throw my actual sex worker experience in here for whoever is interested. I was a cam girl for about a year and I only had 2 female clients. One just wanted me to watch her over Skype while she and her boyfriend had sex. The other had a mommy-daughter kink and we basically role-played while sexting. Honestly, nothing too exciting. It was just pretty rare in my area of expertise. My mom was a stripper, and at her old club Tuesdays used to be bitch night. In her experience, the lesbians were always the most generous to tip, the most polite to interact with, the most fun to talk to, and they always would bring flowers and polite attitudes. She wasn't attracted to any of them. She was married, and many came with their spouses, but she enjoyed butch nights. Sounds like a MILF. Oddly enough, in strip clubs they tend to be the most aggressive. I think because we're both women they think they can go further, which isn't right at all. I've also had sex with swingers for money and the women were usually way more behaved because they were grown women and mothers and typically weren't drunk like at the club. I actually love swingers. People make paid sex out to be depressing, but it was always older couples who fed me and were really kind. I used to do webcam work and I mostly did daddy kink play. It's not my thing, but I can put it on very well and have a young face. Most of my work was with regular clients with set appointments for private shows. The more they paid, the more likely I was to make effort to keep up a relationship with them outside of cam sessions over text and Skype. I had enough bad experiences that I set up a policy that I refused any and all female clients. Worth noting that I'm a lesbian, and this had nothing to do with my lack of sexual attraction and exclusively to do with how female clients treated me. When I first started, I had a woman and her husband contact me looking for a full-time relationship. I'm exchange for my attention. They had sent me an order confirmation for 5 items off my Amazon wishlist posted public to my webcam profile, quote of which totaled to over $3,000. This had happened to me before, and so I was excited and they definitely got my attention. I only had communication contact with the wife, but she told me that her husband told her what to ask for from me and such. This is a dom sub fetish, and so that wasn't a surprise to me. The requests started fairly normal. Sexy photos that were exclusive to them. Private webcam shows. The woman was aggressive and had me call her mistress and would punish me if I got cheeky with her or didn't deliver on my requests on time. Eventually, after my packages didn't show up for over a week, I asked for a tracking number and it all went to shit. The woman accused me of not trusting them and not believing that mommy and daddy were keeping up their end of the bargain. So I contacted Amazon, who confirmed that the order had never been placed. At this point, I knew I was being scammed. I forwarded the email to them, and mistress flipped out at me, threatening to have me arrested for extortion. Reported me as a scammer to the website I was contracted with. Tried to call the cops on me, but it's hard to arrest someone's P.O. box and they had no other living address for me, only the city I lived in, and my screen name. I blocked their contacts, refused to speak further with them, and they harassed me with new accounts for months. I never saw a face or got a name, and it was to the point where I could not talk to a female user on the site without it turning out to be them. I was terrified and annoyed, so I put a blanket ban on PMs and private shows from any female accounts. I'm sure there are plenty of perfectly nice women or couples who want a little girl to spoil, but I put a priority on my sanity. I've seen female clients but only during threesomes where their husband/boyfriend is present. I find women are a lot more self-conscious, usually shy to start. They often will compare themselves to me, which honestly makes me a bit uncomfortable. It becomes obvious that this is something their husbands talk them into. But I've also had crazy hot threesomes where the woman is super into it and really takes charge. Usually women are better at giving oral sex, since they have the parts themselves and know what they're doing. Even if it's their first time, it's almost always better. They are generally much more gentle lovers. They are softer physically than men are. They feel very different to touch. They're also better kissers. Sorry guys, P. But I've never had a female client one-on-one, so I couldn't really give any insight on that. We're totally better kissers. Guys just get in there with the tongue, usually way too stiff, and don't know when to stop. Not sexy. Seriously. There is nothing sexy about shoving your rigid tongue down my throat. I had one dude basically tongue my throat one time. No joke. Like an in-out motion with his tongue in my mouth. I was so disturbed. Like holy you're at least 40. Have you really been kissing like this for over 2 decades? And no one has said anything. 2 years and nope. Not one. Sometimes I'll get couples but never just a solo female client. I should clarify. 2 years as an escort. In my 6 years as a cam girl I might have, but it's hard to tell if it's just a guy pretending or not. It's possible.